Hey there, it's Kathy. Happy Monday. My name's Kathy Howes. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and from Denver, Colorado. And today I want to show you how to make this cute shaker card. Can you see the shaker stuff in there? If I wiggle it, makes you seasick. Let me just do a little bit. Anyway, there's shaker stuff in there. I'll show you how to make this cute shaker card. And then stick around toward the end of the video and I will show you how you can use your Stamparatus to make bulk cards. So if you're going to do your Christmas cards, you know, make 20 of the same card or even more, I'll show you a way that you use your Stamparatus and makes it a little bit faster. So anyway, so back to the shaker card. We're going to use the Snow Wonder bundle. It's a stamp set that looks like this. Now if you watch my YouTube videos, nasty glare, you know that I've used this before. You can find my YouTube channel at Be Creative with Kathy, or perhaps you're watching it now because I do my videos Facebook Live and then I post them to YouTube too. If you go to YouTube, be sure and like my channel and click on the bell so you'll be reminded of when I post a video. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So you'll notice on this card that the background here is designer series paper. It's from the Snow Splendor designer series paper. But for this video, because if you want to do, 100 cards, you might not want to use designer series paper. I'm going to show you how to do a little bit different background. So I have a piece here of Misty Moonlight cardstock, and I'm clearing my desk off because this is kind of a messy kind of technique I'm going to show you. And I have some of the frosted white shimmer paint, and now I can't find anything on my desk because I moved everything out of the way. Then I'm going to just use a clear block and Stampin' Up's water painters. Now Stampin' Up came out with water painters. They're new in the catalog, the annual catalog this year, and the thing I love about them is first of all, they're a little bit bigger. There's 3 different sizes, so one brush is large, and then there's a medium and a small. And so for today's video, I'm going to use the medium brush. The aqua painters, the lid twists off. Now normally it's righty-tighty, but with aqua painters it turns the other way. And then you can just fill them full of water, or you could fill them full of rubbing alcohol, depending on what you're doing with your water painter. But we're going to use water today. I'm going to shake up my paint a little bit, and then I'm going to just pour a little bit here onto my block. And I might have to add more, we'll see. And then I'm going to just add a little bit of water by squeezing. Here it has a little place here where your thumb fits that says push, and you push on there, and then the water comes through the brush. And then squeeze some water in that paint. We're just going to get it a little bit thinner. And then I want to start by taking, and I'm going to make some snowbanks here on my Misty Moonlight paper. And I'm going to paint in the whole bottom of my paper here. Whoop, I went a little bit. Let me fix that. There we go. And then maybe make another snowbank over here. Just something to give it some color. And then color all that in. Now this part here you could make as light or as dark as you wanted. I'm having a little bit of trouble getting rid of that little bump that I messed up right there. There we go, now he's gone. Okay, and fill in this. You could let this dry and then go over it again and give it another coat and make it look even darker. But I'm not gonna really, it's just a background for our card, so I'm not gonna really worry about that too much. I think that looks good right there. Okay, then I'm going to add a lot more water to my paint here, get it pretty thin. And I'm going to pick up as much liquid as I can with my brush, and then I'm going to just hold it over my card, and then just barely tap. Can you see how I'm just holding the brush there and then using my finger to tap the card? And then you get that really pretty, now be careful because it's splattering like everywhere on my paper, or on my desktop, sorry. So you can normally just wipe it up because it's little spatters, But just know that if you have anything around that you don't want white little splatters on, make sure it's out of the way, or cover it up so you can't mess it up or destroy it or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside to dry. I'm going to clean my brush. So I have a couple paper towels here, and I'm going to just squeeze. Well, really, I'm going to squeeze on my block first so I can clean that. But I'm going to just wipe my brush clean with a little bit of water by squeezing it and then getting all that paint off onto my paper towel. And then I will, later on, I'll run that under the sink just to make sure all that paint's off, but I don't want it to dry with all that paint that I had on there. And then the same thing with this, I'll wipe it clean with my paper towel, which I did pretty good, but then I will go and run that under the sink and make sure that I can get all of that paint off my block. Okay, so I did one of these. Isn't that pretty? Look how pretty. I think it's beautiful that way. And that was fast and simple. You could do a bunch of those to do your Christmas cards. But anyway, so I did one yesterday because this one takes just a few minutes to dry, and I don't want to take the chance and wait for it. Or I mean, take the chance that it won't dry, and I don't want to wait for it. So I have one pre-made here. Because then what we're going to do with this as our background now, I'm going to take Stampin' Up's clear envelope here. Now these there's 50 in a package here, so you could make a ton of cards with one package of clear envelopes. And I'm going to make sure that I put it in the envelope and down toward this bottom corner here. And then I'm going to take some of our Snowflake sequins. And you've seen me use these. Lately, these are the thing on my list. Maybe because I ordered too many buckets of them, I don't know, but I think they're adorable and I love them. And I'm going to dump some here into my envelope. Ooh, I got a lot in there, but that's okay. The more, then I dumped them on my table and they are staticky. They're going to be everywhere. That's okay. So then I have them, see my snowflakes or sequins down here. I'm going to turn my envelope over and remove that covering and fold this tight over my card. I'm even going to take my bone folder here and crease that envelope there at that side. Then with just some regular old Scotch tape, this top part here, I'm going to fold down over my card tight. Use my bone folder again, make sure I get a crisp seam there at the top of that envelope. And then I'm going to just tape this down with some Scotch tape. Now, to make it easier, I like to use 3 little pieces. You could do one big piece if you felt you could get it on there or handle. I think the Scotch tape gets out of control, and that's why I do a bunch of little pieces. But look how I've taped that right up there to the top, right? So now you have the front of your card. That's your shaker card there. Isn't that cute? Look at all those little things shaking in there. Okay, put that away. So then with our card base, where did my card base go? It's just your thick Whisper White 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. Sorry about that. Let me get rid of that glare. There we go. And we're going to fold that in half with the bone folder. Now, do you ever cut your paper here and you kind of get a rough edge? My edge looks a little bit rough, so I'm going to just take my bone folder and rub it over that edge and smooth it out. There, and now I'm happy. So then on the back of my envelope now, look how cute that is. I love the shaker card. Anyway, I'm going to take some tear-in tape. Now, I tried the Stampin' Seal Plus, and it did not want to stick to the plastic of the envelope. So I think your best bet in this case is the tear-in tape. It sticks to the tape. You can lay it down where you want it. It just seems to work. You can get it as close to the edge as you can. That's what I'm trying to do, is get it pretty close to the edge on all 4 sides. So it looks like that. And then I am, since we're going on the plastic envelope, I'm going to give it just a little bit more burnish here and make sure it's stuck good. Excuse me. And there we go. Okay. So then with my Take a Pick tool, I'm going to use that just to get that release paper off of there. And this one, there we go. Oh, and you know, it just dawned on me, I forgot my ribbon. So hang on, before we put it on the, I should have put my ribbon on before I put my tear and tape on there, so shame on me, but let's see if I can make it work. Because then the tear and tape should go over the ribbon and hold it down, but got a little bit ahead of myself. So I'm going to just use a silicone mat here because the tear and tape won't stick to the silicone mat. And this time I'm going to use this mesh ribbon, the metallic mesh ribbon. It's in the mini catalog, I think in the Halloween stuff, but I think it's going to bring out the silver in that paint. And the, hopefully I can get my knot where I want it now that I have the tape on there. But anyway, and the silver in those sequins. We have a sequin issue that they're like stuck together. There we go, broke them up. Okay, and then I'm gonna just tie this in a simple knot. And like I said, make sure you do this part before you put the adhesive on the back. It'd be a lot easier. But look, it's gonna be just fine. Okay, and tie this into a knot. Like that. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that beautiful ribbon or mesh or whatever the heck it is? And let's just cut that off about there. We might have to cut it off a little bit more later when we see how the finished product's going to be. Okay, now let's take that and then put it onto our card base. Thank goodness. So remember, if you ever get adhesive on the back of something and you're not quite finished with it, use your silicone mat, because you can lay it on your silicone mat and work on it and then peel it right up. But looky there, look how pretty my shaker card is now with that the paint on there and the pretty ribbon on there. So I've done a couple of backgrounds here. So I have 3 of my bases ready. So let me show you how I can quickly decorate these 3. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in my Stamparatus. And I know if you've watched my video, you know that when I'm gonna use my base plate, right? Because it's red rubber stamp, so I don't need the foam mat that comes with it. I have 1 cutting plate. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on there. I have a grid paper, and I think it goes this way. Not that it matters. And then on the back, I'm gonna use my magnet to hold my grid paper down. I like to use Sizzix sticky grid sheets, and what they do, I've cut it down to just a little piece like this, and you peel this off. It's like a Post-it note, and I'm gonna just lay it here on my grid paper, and it's gonna hold my paper because it's sticky on both sides, but now it has a little bit of stick to it, and it's gonna hold my paper down where I want it. Then I have a scrap of thick Whisper White here, and I'm gonna lay it down in the corner of one of these grid lines, and I'm gonna make a mark in the corner so I know about where my cardstock was. Okay, and then on here I'm going to lay my snowman like this, and my Happy Christmas like this. Oh, it's stuck. There we go. Like that. Then I'm going to pick those up with my plate. I'm going to put my stamp set under here. I like to work on a flat surface here. And then I'm going to use Misty Moonlight on my Happy Christmas. And I'm going to use Memento Black on my snowman because I'm going to color him later with the blends. So on my Misty Moonlight with my Misty Moonlight on my Happy Christmas. And then some Memento Black on my snowman. And because you got to remember, Memento is a felt ink pad, so you have to press hard and ink him up. The Misty Moonlight is a foam pad, so you don't have to add as much pressure to him. when you're inking him up. And now I'm going to add a lot of pressure to my snowman because it was the felt tip or the felt pad, and just a little bit of pressure to my Happy Christmas. And then it looks like that. Okay, for just a second, I'm going to set this aside, take my paper off there. Let me show you though, and let me cover up my ink pad so I don't get anything that could be dangerous. Okay, now I'm going to peel the paper off, and you can see I'm going to hold my grid paper down, but that sticky grid sheet holds my paper on there, and that's why I don't need the magnet to hold my paper down. Now, Stampin' Up! Does not sell the sticky grid sheets. Those are a Sizzix product. You could probably find them on Amazon, but to be honest with you, I can't remember where I got mine. And a little bit, they last forever because you just cut them down to a little size to fit onto your plate of your Stamparatus. So now we need to cut these out. So I'm going to take my die cut machine, the platform number 1. Let me move this so you can see what I'm doing here. Platform number 1, and then the plate number 2, and then my cutting pad number 3, my cardstock, and then from my dies, I'm going to cut out that snowman, and I'm going to use this to cut out my words. Let's lay that down on my snow. And that's going to wiggle. I might have to use some tape. Okay, and then lay this down for my words here. And I am going to just take a little bit of washi tape and hold that snowman down so I get him where I want him, because he is moving just a little bit. There we go. And I might as well use the same washi tape and hold down my word die cut here. Does that look straight about right there? Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and then clear cutting pad on top, and we're just going to run that through and cut those out. So now normally we would consider this piece scrap. Let me see if I can get that washi tape off there. This piece, but in this case, we're going to use that piece again and again. So I'm going to bring my Stamparatus back in. Oh, and before I do that, I want to take and ink them up again. I almost forgot. And then stamp those down on my grid paper so I know exactly where they're gonna stamp. Okay, making sure nothing moves now. So now when I take my paper, my template I'll call this now, and put this right back in to where it looks straight. That looks good. So now I know where it's gonna stamp, or where the image is gonna be on my paper. So then you can take and run. I took a piece of paper like this. In fact, I took 2 at a time, and I put my snowman and my other die on there and cut them out. You can get them as close as you want them. You can use scraps of paper, but that way you can cut out a bunch of these little pieces for all your cards. You then set this inside of here, inside that hole, and then the grid paper is going to hold that one for me. This one's going to just sit in there nicely. You can kind of rub your finger to make sure that they're in there where they should be. And then just ink them up again. A little bit of ink on the Merry Christmas. I think it's Happy Christmas. On the Happy Christmas. And then you fold that, or close the plate. Hold it down. And then you have them stamped again and again. So then with the help of your take a pick tool, which where did mine go? Or maybe since you can't find your take a pick tool, you'll have to use your scissors to get them out of there. Where did my take a pick tool go? And you have this all stamped and ready. I really need to find my take a pick tool to get it. I just had it. There we go, I got it with my finger. Okay, and then we can take the next one and do it again. Ink up the snowman. So you see how this would be faster than trying to stamp the snowman and then stamp the Happy Christmas and then go cut them out and line them up, and you waste it, or it takes a lot more paper that way because you don't know where it's going to stamp or how much room you need for the dies. So this way makes things a lot faster, and you can do all your Christmas cards in less time. And really, you could do this with any stamp that has the die sets to match. Just make a little template like this. Now, you could hang on to this template and then lay it on your stamparatus. You put your stamps in there again, pick them up with your plate, and then you could always use them again and again. Okay, so now all we have to do is take those little snowmen that I just cut out, and I'm gonna color him, and he doesn't take a lot of coloring. You know how I feel about coloring. It's not my favorite thing, especially if I'm gonna make 100 Christmas cards, but I'm gonna put just a little bit of pumpkin pie on his nose, a little bit of dark poppy parade on his hat, a little bit of dark granny apple green on those little leaves, and of course these are Stampin' Blends. And you could, if you have time to get fancy, and nope, that's the wrong. Oop, and then look, I didn't even open these yet. And then these are the Misty Moonlight, which matches the color cardstock we used. I'm going to use the light Misty Moonlight to see what that color looks like. Yeah, and I like that color. That's what we're going to stick with, is the lighter of the Misty Moonlight for his hat. A little bit like that. And then again with the Poppy Parade for the scarf. There we go. And then I do have the light Seaside Spray, and I'm gonna just highlight. Now this, you could even skip this part because it already has the highlighting on the stamp with the little black marks on there, but I'm gonna bring a little bit of blue in there and just kind of color to give the snowman a little bit more depth. And you can see I'm just going around where the stamp already showed me where the highlight should be, a little bit on the snow over here. There we go, just like that. Okay, so we bring our card bases. Now I would color them all. I have some colored here already. Oh, maybe I only have two. I guess we'll just finish 2 of our cards. We need 2 of the sentiments that we just stamped. There we go, and bring in our card bases. And then with a couple dimensionals on the back. This is something you could sit in front of the TV at night and just color and, you know, try to get your Christmas cards done. It might not take too long. And I'm going to just set him right there under my thing, which I think this is a little bit long. I'm going to trim this down just a tad. There we go. I like that better. And then a couple dimensionals on the greeting here. And you know what? Nope, I'm going to take this dimensional off because that's going to be on top of the snowman. So I'm going to take that off and put a glue dot there instead. Because the snowman is already on dimensionals, so this way it will lay it flat. And I just noticed there's a spatter of paint on my tag here, on my sentiment. And look how cute that is. Whoop, and it's crooked. Let me fix it, hold on. It's still crooked. There we go. Maybe my Christmas is crooked, I don't know. But look how cute the card is. It still fits in an envelope. It's a shaker card. And then of course you'll have to stamp the inside. I stamped mine with a little tree in some garden green, also part this image of the stamp set. I used the Seaside spray to put some snowflakes around the sentiments, and then I used the Misty Moonlight with the saying that says, sending you blessing, peace, and magic this Christmas season. And so I'm going to sit here, I'm going to color a couple more of my snowman, and I'm going to add the insides of my cards. I hope you liked the shaker card. I hope you'll try, if you decide to make a bunch of Christmas cards, you'll give the Stamparatus a try to see if it helps make your Christmas cards come along a little bit faster. If you ever have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. I'll do the best I can to answer all of them. If you need any product, you can go to my online store, kathyhouse.stampinup.net. And if you're watching my Facebook Live, please like and share my videos. And if you're watching YouTube, please subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you back here Friday. Bye-bye.